Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Nesting with Mel. My name is Melania, you can call me Mel, and today I'm going to talk to you about postpartum anxiety. That is something that I went through with my daughter, and my anxiety has continued to grow even past the postpartum period into all the way until now. I'm still dealing with anxiety. But it really got worse. Like, I've always had some anxiety. Like, I've always been scared of flying. Like, I've had a lot of anxiety around flying, and other things like heights and stuff, but never to the extreme that happened post having a child. So I'm going to just talk about how it started manifesting in my life. And one of the ways it started right after I came home with my daughter. I could not sleep because I was afraid she would stop breathing, and I would stay up for hours instead of sleeping while she was sleeping at night. I would stay awake and watch her like a hawk. And when you don't sleep, there's so many studies that show that your anxiety levels go up with the lack of sleep. I mean, sleep deprivation is used as torture for obvious reasons. So if you're not sleeping, which I wasn't, yeah, my anxiety went worse. So then I became more paranoid that something bad was going to happen to my child. And I would start acting kind of crazy because of it. And it just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where it would cripple me. And I would have panic attacks, like crippling panic attacks, where I couldn't function. I couldn't leave the house because something bad was going to happen. And it started like spilling into every other, it was, first it started out with my daughter, and then it started spilling into, into all the other areas of my life. And then you get into this spiral, so then you're not sleeping, and then you're more anxious, and the more anxious you are, then the less you're sleeping, so then it just snowballs into this ugly situation where you feel like you're completely out of your flipping mind. And at the same time, if I wasn't anxious about everything, I was going through postpartum depression. So then I was like almost catatonic. So I would go from this anxious fire to Glennon Doyle. She did a video about mental health on her Instagram TV, and she deals with depression and anxiety, and she said it's like living with Tigger and Eeyore at the same time. Tigger, da, 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 oh my god, my baby's gonna die, and la la la, and oh, life sucks, and oh my gosh. So it's like constantly, like you almost feel like you're bipolar, because you go from one extreme to the next. And it was when I heard her describe it that way, I was like, bingo, that is so accurate. And I really struggled. I struggled a lot, and the not sleeping just made it worse, and the panic attacks were awful. But since I was going through depression, and my doctor got me on Zoloft, the Zoloft addressed a lot of the anxiety too. So Zoloft was a really good medicine for me, because it helped pick me up so I wasn't so depressed, but it also brought down that anxiety, and I was able to sleep better at night and get a hold of myself and do the self-care that I needed to get through that. But here's the thing. 2 years ago, well, it's been more than 2 years ago, when I finally came off of Zoloft under medical supervision and with the direction of my doctor, the depression, you know, I can handle the depression, but the anxiety attacks would hit me out of nowhere. And so I had clonazepam. I think that's what I had. It's been a while since I've taken it, so I can't remember what it's called. I think it's clonazepam on PRN prescription. So like if I had a panic attack, I could take it, or if I'm flying, I could take it, that sort of thing. And then at night, this is when my anxiety attacks would happen at night. And I would just cycle through, and I mean, gosh, even this happened about a year ago, maybe over a year ago. Some mom I was following on Instagram, her child died unexpectedly from swallowing a little bouncy ball. And it was absolutely heartbreaking. And I saw the news about it on my Instagram feed just before I went to sleep. And I went into a spiral that something wrong, that my daughter was going to stop breathing. And my daughter was 5. She was fine. I got up and went into her room at least 10 times that night to check on her, to make sure she was breathing. And that was, you know, a little over a year ago. That's how crazy. I mean, it just, that's one instant. Another example of, so this is what happens when I feel like something bad's going to happen. I feel this adrenaline rush through my body. My heart rate goes to like 160 within a minute. My palms start sweating. Everything starts spinning. I can't think rationally. I start crying because I know something terrible is going to happen. It is debilitating. Like, I can't function. And what I ended up doing is I took my medicine and I talked to my therapist the next day. And shortly after that incident, actually it wasn't that incident, but she was going to refer me to some behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy to help. She, you know, said that there's probably some trauma, you know, birthing trauma, because I didn't have a very pleasant birth experience. And there's other trauma that I've experienced in my life where people that are close to me were hurt or killed. So, and I never really dealt with any of that. And sometimes that comes as anxiety. And then coupled with all the postpartum stuff I went through, it just exacerbated a condition I already had underlying before I had my daughter. So, it was a year ago last year. I flew down to California with my family to visit my brother, and I had the mother of all panic attacks on the plane. And it was awful because my daughter witnessed it, and she has never seen me like that. Like, I try to keep it together for her. And as I said, most of my panic attacks happen at night when everyone's asleep. And then I'm in this really dark place. So, after that, when I came back from California, I talked to my therapist, and she had just gotten a certification in EMDR. RMDR. Oh my gosh, I should have researched this. Rapid eye movement desensitizing reprocessing or something like that. And it's where there's different ways you can do it, but it's like when you revisit traumatic events from your past life, and as you're visiting it, you move your eyes back and forth. I'm not going to go into the details of this therapy, but basically it connects to both sides of your brain in order to process a traumatic event healthfully. Both sides of the brain have to process it. And when you have PTSD from some event, it usually just gets stashed in one side of your brain. And so like the rational side from the other side can't tell your body like, hey, that was just one event. It's not going to happen, you know. So yeah, that was my experience with that. Anyways, so last year I turned 40 and I had planned a trip to Scotland to celebrate because that was on my bucket list, and we were going to have a big family trip. And then my panic attack happened on the plane to California 6 months before, and I was like, how the hell am I going to fly to Scotland, which was, you know, an 8-hour flight to Iceland and then another 2-hour flight to Glasgow where we were landing, if I can't even make it 2 hours down to California. So at the same time, my grandfather, he declined from cancer, so I was flying down like once a month down there with panic attacks. So I could see him before he passed on, and then I went back for his funeral, and yeah. Not fun. And I found ways to, you know, to deal with that. But I bring up the flight stuff because it wasn't necessarily, flight was like the big ones where like it was embarrassing. I mean, I was embarrassed, and I felt bad for the other passengers on the plane who had to see me in that state. But mostly there was other things happening throughout the day. So like I would be walking with my daughter, and then all of a sudden I'm like, what if that car that just passed us hit us? And then I would have the adrenaline rush, and my heart would race, and then I would freak out, and I'm like, really, Mel? Like, you're just walking down the street. Yes, a car could hit you, but a car could hit you anytime. A meteor could fall out of the sky and hit you. Like, there's so much things that can happen. And that's the thing, is like, I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life that I have not processed. And so I've been working with my therapist, processing a lot of my childhood trauma and accidents that I had been in where people had died. People I knew had died in that accident that I was also in, and stuff like that. And between that, my meds that I took whenever I had like a major panic attack. But I think the EMDR, like really, that I was able to fly to Scotland and back just fine. And I've flown down to California since, and to Vegas and other places, and I was fine. Also CBD oil, that also really, really helped get me in a calmer state of mind and sleep. Help me sleep at night, because that's when my stuff happens. Like I start, you know, getting crazy at night. And so CBD really, really helped. But the EMDR, ever since I did the EMDR, my panic attacks have gone way down. And even though I still have those moments where I have really, like, I start spiraling, you know, I have people I can call and talk to. And right now I can't take anything because I'm pregnant, and I've had one panic attack since I've been pregnant. But I was able to talk to someone and like calm down and go to sleep. So good therapy is so important. And there's so many other therapies out there. I mean, you need to research and find something that's going to work for you but that's what helped me. And I hope you found this video helpful and encouraging, that you are not alone if you've experienced any of these kind of emotions, and you are not alone. So please leave comments leave comments below if you have gone through this and what helped you, so that other moms can find it helpful. And thank you so much for watching.